It's wild how the Israeli government is continually denying the fact that they're committing a genocide. This would be like catching a murderer in the act of murdering a person, and then all they do is scream, "You're being racist for arresting them for murder." It's like, no, it's not racist to arrest a person for murder when they're caught in the act of murder.
Sadly, the world has not succeeded in stopping the genocide that is currently unfolding in Gaza. The international community has largely remained passive in response to these atrocities.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how the international community will support the Ukrainian government against their genocide by the Russian government, but do very little but speak words when it comes to the Palestinians being genocided by the Israeli government. Why aren't they sending troops to Gaza and the West Bank to help protect them from the Israeli military?
بالعشرات وجرحى. هذا هو ما يحدث الآن في غزة.
Yeah, when the main casualties of a war is kids, that is definitely not a war against terrorists, that's a war against innocent civilians, unless we're going to try to claim that kids are the terrorists.
Gaza, which is one of the most densely populated places in the world, is home to approximately 2.3 million Palestinians, almost half of them children.
Half of Gaza are kids, so the claim that uh, everybody in Gaza voted for Hamas is a total lie.
For the past 96 days, Israel has subjected Gaza to what has been described as one of the heaviest conventional bombing campaigns in the history of modern warfare.
Israel has a genocidal intent against the Palestinians in Gaza.
Yeah, it's obvious when they openly speak about committing a genocide against the Palestinian people.
That is evident from the way in which Israel's military attack is being conducted. The targeting of family homes and civilian infrastructure, laying waste to vast areas of Gaza, and the bombing, shelling, and sniping of men, women, and children where they stand.
Yeah, and there's a lot of videos of the Israeli government sniping Palestinians while they're just standing there doing nothing.
The destruction of the health infrastructure and lack of access to humanitarian assistance.
Yeah, what do you call destroying 70% of the infrastructure? If it was the Israeli nation that had 80% of their infrastructure destroyed, the entire world would be like, yeah, there's a genocide against the Jewish people. But because it's the Palestinian people being genocided by the Israeli government, there's supposed to be this question of if they're doing it or not.
The applicant has regrettably put before the court a profoundly distorted factual and legal picture. The entirety of its case hinges on a deliberately curated, decontextualized, and manipulative description of the reality of current hostilities.
But when you have videos of the Israeli government bombing safe zones, bombing hospitals, bombing innocent people, innocent people, the idea of attacking innocent people, how is that distorted? Yeah, 12,000 people were killed by Hamas during October 7th, and that is horrible. but compared to the 22,000 people killed by the Israeli government, what does that mean? The Israeli government has killed like 4 times as many innocent people as Hamas has killed, and what, like a handful of Hamas agents? That is not a war against Hamas, that's a war against the Palestinian people. The Israeli government isn't against collective punishment.
This case concerns a large-scale armed conflict with tragic consequences for civilians on both sides. Yes, there is a heart-wrenching armed conflict, but the attempt to classify it as genocide and trigger provisional measures is not just unfounded in law. It has far-reaching and negative implications that extend well beyond the case before you.
Well, yeah, every nation should be punished for committing a genocide. If they're found to be committing a genocide, we shouldn't be worried about other nations being charged with genocide if they are, just because we find the Israeli government committing genocide.
Suggesting a meeting of respective directors
Please be seated.
And the Israeli government has shown its intent to commit genocide by its rhetoric.
Humanity is at crossroads. The case